What's up, everybody? Rama, me, Odwin. Uh, Getting ready to head down and do I think this is my third run of the year to pick up some supplies. It's a 3 hour trip down, 3 hour trip back. I'm doing my first show in New York this year. I'll be doing it in November, so I'm picking up some New York State images. 'Cause I'm to do more Buffalo Bills, create a Yankees, create a Buffalo Sabres, create a New York Giants, New York Knicks, and a few other things relating to upstate New York and New York City. So it should be a good ride. I'll be talking about some things that I'm moving into a little bit, like with some AI and all of that, and it should be a good time. So here we go. What's up, everybody? Me, Rama, taking our third trip of the year down south for a supply run of woodcut states. In particular, I'm doing a show in New York, so I need about 200 more cuts of New York State. I'm also picking up some North Carolina, um, and I'm picking up Alabama. And ironically, I'm going to have to turn around in probably 3 weeks and do another supply run because I've got a couple of really big shows coming up in September as we roll into August, and I need the time to prep the cuts of state, primer them, paint them, all that kind of stuff. So um, while I'm driving, I always do a little talk, a little conversation, think out loud, and it's just a good time to do it because these trips are 3 hours down and 3 hours back. Um, but my continuing evolution, I will call it, my opinions of AI and art. And yeah, I know, right, Rama? Come on, buddy, you got to relax. Um, you know, I, up until basically a month ago, I, like every artist, not only was against AI, I saw it as a hindrance or a detriment, and I still, in many ways, feel that way. In particular, I feel that way about the fact that with AI, you can now you now don't have to struggle, be terrible, cut your teeth learning the craft of painting acrylics or oils or drawing pen and ink or anatomy or perspective, all of those things. Um, and that's just from the two-dimensional art that I do. I mean, if you're a guitar player, you don't have to get bloody fingers and calloused fingers learning how to get the muscle memory to play guitar like Jack White or Eddie Van Halen or whomever. Um, and yeah, I that's an issue. I definitely think that's an issue. I see it as a problem. That hasn't changed at all. In particular, for the younger generation and for kids, I think it's really unfortunate that they are going to be able to default to the easy way out instead of learning a craft and learning a trade and not being reliant on technology to produce whatever aspects of the trade that they want to produce. I was thinking about it. Would Prince had become as well astute and crafted at all the instruments that he could play. I mean, he could basically play every instrument. He could play piano, he could play drums, he could play various guitars, he could play horn instruments. And would he have done that if he didn't have to do that? It wasn't an option for him to prompt an AI agent to make a sound for him. Probably I would say Bob Dylan and Alan Jackson and Eminem are some of the greatest singer-songwriters that are alive today. All different genres, but they're still brilliant singer-songwriters in their respective fields. I mean, would their sound be their sound? Would Chris Stapleton be Chris Stapleton if he could just tell an AI agent or a bot to make this sound? Well, right now, if someone likes Chris Stapleton and Eminem, they could say, make me a rap song that sounds like Chris Stapleton wrote it and Eminem is singing it, or vice versa. Make a country song that Chris Stapleton is singing, but it sounds like something Eminem wrote. You get what I'm saying? And so it's just a problem because human nature is to always default to the easiest way, especially if you have nothing but the gift of taking an easy way, period. You know, like in 15 years or 20 years, the sheer thought of someone struggling to learn art and craft, I would imagine that would be absolutely ridiculous. You know, now I don't know any better, so I had to suck. You know, I had to suck and, in a Cuban school and get bad grades and all that stuff. So anyhow, so that perspective. I think it's very valid. I think the loss of jobs is very valid. It's obviously already happened in the art field as well as other fields. But in my case, I have to think of it as, okay, what if you are someone who's cut their teeth and paid their dues and has a certain level of accomplishment in your field or expertise, be it music or design or graphic illustration or whatever it is, and then this tool comes along that you can use to enhance what you do, or even better yet, it provides you an opportunity to take what you can do or what you have done and take it to a whole nother level. You know, I'm at my heart of hearts, at my core, I'm just a comic book artist who can do a lot of different things. I don't really get to do a whole lot of comic book art now, or at least over the past decade. I think that's gonna change here real soon. I think I'm gonna come full circle on the comic book thing. Another topic for another day, um, but I've got tons of characters and ideas, and I self-published a comic book in 1997 that has been basically forgotten and at the bottom of a scrap heap of drawings. And I always wanted to see those characters animated and realized, but it would have cost, $500,000 30 years ago to make a, 15, 20-second, animated sequence to show around to studios, or just to do it, just to see these things come to life and realized. So, I can't lump every scenario in the same bucket that needs or that uses AI, because at the end of the day, if you have earned your stripes and this has come along and it gets to hyper boost what you do, why would you not? What it doesn't make any sense, and so in this situation for me, I'm seeing it as a possible, I haven't done anything with it yet, a possible tool to realize and bring to life these things that I created, that I've had for 30 years without the ability to do anything with. And uh, uh, why would I not take that opportunity? don't I owe it to myself and to my creativity, to these characters, to all of those things? Don't I owe it to myself to realize that as in its fullest capacity? Um, years ago when Photoshop and Illustrator kind of came onto the scene, which was might as well have been 30 years ago, and it was a similar thing. It's like, letterers were going to be put out of business, and colorists were going to be put out of business, and to a certain extent, they were, in the capacity that they had been doing comic books at the time. And so, now I would assume 95% of the comic books are lettered in, whatever, some program that they can just letter it and change the word balloons and move it around. I'm sure it makes it a lot easier. I'm sure, 30 years ago, letterers who, lettered with the ruler and line and stuff were fit to be tied because they had to learn a computer system to do what they had done for their entire careers. The same with colorists. But, when you look at the dynamic colorings in comic books now, they're usually printed now on glossy paper. The colors are amazing and it looks amazing. And I personally still love the colored look, if you will, painted look. I love Alex Ross, the stuff he does, and that still, to me personally, is what I love and I adhere to. But I can't deny that the digital coloring, the vibrance of those colors, a lightsaber glowing like a real lightsaber, electricity popping with hot white and blue, and a lightning bolt strike and all that kind of stuff. It looks great. It looks great. You can't deny that. So I just think that it's, for me, the opportunity it creates is one that I have to, at the very least, I got to give it a look-see.